Ever imagine yourself walking onto like a busy construction site or maybe like a really high-tech manufacturing plant and you have to like spot hidden dangers?
Right.
That's kind of the life of a health and safety inspector, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, today we're going beyond just what the job title says.
Right.
We're digging into RoleCatcher's career guide to figure out what it really takes to succeed in this kind of field.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's a career that goes way beyond just like checking boxes on an inspection checklist.
Right.
You're not just like an inspector.
Yeah.
You're like advocating for people you know.
Yeah.
Making sure that everyone's treated fairly and that working conditions are safe for absolutely everybody.
It's about protecting those workers.
Exactly.
Creating a culture of safety.
Totally.
So like walk me through this. What does a typical day look like for someone in this kind of role?
Okay, so picture this.
Okay.
You're on site at a chemical plant. The air is kind of thick. You can hear the machines humming.
Yeah.
Your job is to cut through all that intensity and figure out if there are any potential hazards. Anything from chemical exposures to even like ergonomic risks.
Oh, interesting.
So you're interviewing workers, you're looking at the equipment,
Yeah.
you're analyzing all those safety protocols,
Right?
and all the while you're keeping an eye out for anything that could put someone at risk.
So it's like a mix of technical knowledge and then also people skills.
Absolutely.
It's a very human job.
Yeah, you said it.
And I know RoleCatcher's guide really highlights all the different skills that are needed.
Yeah.
We're talking chemistry, we're talking law, even psychology, engineering.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical desk job.
No, not at all. So tell me more.
Okay, well, let's take chemistry, for example.
Okay.
Let's say you're inspecting a plant and they work with a lot of chemicals, volatile ones.
Yeah.
Do you know if their ventilation system is good enough?
That's a good question.
Are workers using the right masks to protect themselves?
Right.
You got to connect those dots between what the regulations say
Yeah.
and how things work in the real world.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one thing to like read the safety rules in a book.
Exactly.
And then it's another to apply it to all these crazy situations.
Right, and with all these dangerous materials.
Right, Zess.
A big responsibility.
What about the legal side of things?
Oh, yeah, the legal stuff. That's essential.
Yeah.
You really have to understand all the health and safety regulations inside and out.
Yeah.
You're interpreting them, enforcing them.
Right.
You're making sure companies are actually following the law.
Yeah.
And you're sticking up for the workers. We're advocating for their rights.
So it's like you're a workplace safety detective.
A little bit, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about the engineering aspect? How does that play into this?
Okay, so imagine you're inspecting a bridge.
Okay.
Or a building that's being built.
Okay.
Or some really complex manufacturing process.
Right.
You need to be able to look at it and know,
Yeah.
is this structurally sound?
Right.
You have to understand blueprints.
Wow.
And be able to spot potential risks.
That are related to the design and engineering.
Exactly.
Wow. You really do have to be a jack of all trades.
It's true. Yeah.
You need expertise in so many areas.
Yeah.
What about psychology?
Oh, yeah, that one always throws people off.
That one seems unexpected.
Right, but it's so important. Remember, you're dealing with people all day long.
Right.
Employers, employees, maybe even union reps.
Okay.
So you have to understand people, how they behave,
Yeah.
what motivates them, and you need to know how to talk about safety procedures effectively.
Well, they actually stick.
Exactly. It's all part of building that culture of safety we keep talking about.
Right. So it's not just about pointing out violations.
Oh, not at all.
It's about connecting with those people.
Yeah.
And making sure they understand why safety matters.
Absolutely.
So we've established that this career is multifaceted.
For sure.
But where do aspiring inspectors even begin?
Right.
What's that career ladder look like?
So typically you should start as an entry-level inspector,
Okay.
just to get a feel for things. Think of it like an apprenticeship.
Oh.
Where you're shadowing more experienced inspectors,
Right.
doing some basic inspections,
Yeah.
learning how to document everything properly,
Yeah.
and how to write up those important reports.
Gotcha. So it's really about getting your hands dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Learning by doing.
Absolutely.
You're in the field, you're seeing these potential hazards firsthand.
Yeah.
You're figuring out how to navigate all these different work environments.
That's right.
And seeing how those regulations actually translate into like real safety measures.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
all about practical application.
That's got to be perfect for someone who likes to be on the move.
Oh, yeah.
Someone who enjoys a dynamic environment.
Definitely.
Someone who wants to make a real difference.
100%.
What comes after that entry-level stage?
Yeah.
What's the next step up that career ladder?
So once you've got some solid experience under your belt, you'd probably move into a junior health and safety inspector role.
Okay.
And that's where you really start taking on more responsibility.
Like, well.
You'll be doing more independent inspections.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even leading some audits.
So you're not just assisting anymore.
Yep.
You're really leading the charge here.
You got it.
Can you give me an example of like what a junior inspector might actually be doing on the job?
Okay, sure. So let's say you're tasked with assessing the safety of a construction site.
Okay.
We're talking like a high-rise building.
Oh, wow.
Something big.
Okay.
You're not just looking for those obvious violations. You're really thinking ahead. What are the potential risks here?
Right.
You're evaluating fall protection systems,
Right.
making sure the scaffolding is up to code,
Right.
checking that everyone's got the right safety harnesses. It's all about anticipating those hazards before someone gets hurt.
Before they turn into accidents.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
But it's also got to be incredibly rewarding.
Oh, for sure.
Knowing that you're directly contributing to keeping people safe.
Yeah, there's no better feeling.
So from junior inspector, you move up to...
Senior health and safety inspector.
And that's where your leadership skills really come into play.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
So what does that leadership actually look like?
Hello.
What kind of things are you doing as a senior inspector?
At that level, you might be managing a whole team of inspectors.
Wow.
You might be mentoring those junior colleagues.
Okay.
You'd be overseeing those more complex investigations that we talked about before.
Right.
And you'd play a key role in developing safety policies and procedures for the whole company.
So it's not just reacting to potential hazards anymore.
No, not at all.
You're really shaping the entire safety culture of an organization.
Yes. You're being proactive.
That's incredible.
And then for those who are really passionate, who really love that leadership aspect, the ultimate goal might be to become a chief health and safety inspector.
Now that's a title that commands some respect.
Right.
RoleCatcher mentions that these are the people who are like the industry gurus.
Yeah.
They're not just shaping one organization.
Right.
They're influencing those safety standards on a much larger scale.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A chief health and safety inspector.
Yeah.
They're responsible for the whole department.
Wow.
They're thinking long-term, developing those strategic plans to improve safety performance across the board.
So they're always thinking ahead.
Yeah, they got to stay up to date on all the latest regulations. They're identifying any new trends, even new technologies that could make workplaces safer.
Like AI.
Exactly. Artificial intelligence is a big one.
That's actually a perfect segue.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wanted to talk about those certifications that RoleCatcher highlights.
Yeah, those are important.
They seem so valuable.
They really are. They show employers that you're serious about this field.
Yeah, that you're not just messing around.
Right. You've invested the time and effort to develop your expertise.
Like the Certified Safety Professional, the CSP.
Yeah, that's a big one.
What makes that one so valuable?
So a CSP certification tells employers that you've met these really rigorous industry standards.
Okay.
You've proven that you understand things like hazard recognition, risk assessment, incident investigation, safety program management.
So it's not just a piece of paper.
No, not at all.
It means something.
It really does.
It shows that you have the knowledge and the experience.
Exactly.
What about that other certification that RoleCatcher mentioned?
You mean the CIH?
The CIH.
That's the Certified Industrial Hygienist certification.
Okay.
Industrial hygienists, they're the ones who specialize in those health hazards in the workplace.
So things like exposure to chemicals,
right,
noise, biological agents, ergonomic stressors, they're laser focused on those health risks.
Exactly. They're all about protecting workers' health and well-being.
So a health and safety inspector focuses on a broader range of safety hazards.
Yeah, you could say that.
But a CIH really zeroes in on those specific health risks.
Exactly. And they often work together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially in industries where those health hazards are a big deal.
Like manufacturing, construction,
right.
healthcare.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how interconnected all these different areas of expertise really are.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
And talk about something that's really changing the game when it comes to careers.
Oh, yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Right.
RoleCatcher talks about these AI-powered tools that they have. And they almost sound futuristic.
They're pretty cutting edge.
Tell me more about how this technology is changing the way we search for jobs. AI, changing how we look for jobs. That sounds like something right out of a movie.
I know, right? It sounds futuristic, but it's happening right now.
So, tell me how it works.
Okay, so let's say you upload your resume to RoleCatcher. Their AI actually analyzes it.
Okay.
And not just looking for keywords like those old school systems.
Yeah.
It's looking for things like skills gaps,
Oh,
formatting issues.
yeah.
If your resume is easy to read, and even how well your experience actually matches the jobs you're applying for.
So it's like having a personal career coach,
Yeah, kind of.
but a lot more affordable.
Exactly.
What else can this AI do?
Okay, so picture this. You're getting ready for a big interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
RoleCatcher's AI can actually simulate the whole experience for you.
Oh, wow.
It'll ask you questions based on the job description.
Okay.
And then give you feedback on your answers.
That's incredible. It's like having a practice run before the real deal.
Right. It helps you get rid of those pre-interview jitters.
I like it. So it's removing the guesswork
Exactly.
from finding a job.
Yeah, it makes the whole process a lot less stressful.
And I know you mentioned earlier that their AI can connect you with employers who are hiring.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So you're not just sending your resume out into the void.
You're getting your profile in front of the right people.
It's all about making those connections.
Exactly.
This is really interesting stuff. But let's get back to those examples that RoleCatcher provided.
Okay.
About what it's actually like to be a health and safety inspector.
Yeah, those examples are great.
So tell me about our entry-level inspector.
Okay, so remember, they're just starting out. They're learning the ropes.
Right.
They might be on a construction site.
Right.
And they're not just watching.
Yeah.
They're actively looking for anything that could be dangerous.
Like what kind of things?
Oh, faulty wiring.
Okay.
Missing guardrails.
Right.
Not enough fire extinguishers. Things like that.
Important stuff.
Yeah, and they're learning how to document everything really carefully.
So they can write those reports?
Exactly.
What about our junior inspector?
Okay, so our junior inspector, let's say they're at a manufacturing plant.
All right.
They've been tasked with doing a full safety audit.
Wow.
So they're examining the machines. They're talking to the people who operate them.
Making sure everyone knows the safety procedures.
Right. They're checking the noise levels. Even making sure the air quality is okay.
Looking for contaminants.
Exactly.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is. And at the end of it all, they have to write a report for the plant manager.
Summarizing everything.
Exactly.
Okay. What about our senior health and safety inspector? What are they dealing with?
Okay, so our senior inspector is called to a scene.
Oh, no. What happened?
There's been an accident.
Oh, wow.
And they're in charge of the investigation.
Okay.
So they're talking to witnesses, looking at all the data, reviewing safety protocols.
Trying to figure out what went wrong.
Exactly. It's like putting together a puzzle.
To prevent it from happening again.
Right.
That's high pressure.
It definitely can be.
But also really important work.
Absolutely. And they're not just figuring out what happened.
Right.
They're also the ones who have to figure out how to prevent it from happening again.
Okay.
So they'll work with engineers, managers, sometimes even lawyers.
To improve those safety protocols?
Exactly.
That's where those communication and leadership skills are so important.
100%. You got to be able to work with all kinds of people.
Okay, last one, our chief health and safety inspector.
All right, so our chief inspector,
Yeah.
they're meeting with the company's executives.
Yeah.
And they're making a case for a bigger budget.
Okay, why do they need more money?
Because they want to implement a new safety training program.
Oh, okay, for the whole company.
Whole company.
Yeah.
They're presenting data. They're talking about best practices.
They're really championing safety.
Exactly. And then later that week, they might be giving a speech at a big safety conference.
Wow.
Sharing their knowledge with other professionals.
So they've gone from doing inspections
to shaping the entire industry.
That's amazing.
It's a pretty incredible career path.
It really is.
And with RoleCatcher's help, getting the information you need and using those awesome AI tools, it's all within reach.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure to link to RoleCatcher in the show notes.
Perfect.
So our listeners can check it out for themselves.
Oh, good.
But as a final thought, I want our listeners to really ask themselves, could you be the one walking onto those construction sites, those factories, those plants, and not just making sure people are following the rules,
right,
but really fighting for those workers?
Yeah.
Could you be the one who makes a real difference in workplace safety?
It's a question worth thinking about.
It really is.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and until next time, stay curious.